Alright folks, we're back. As always, just 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. I see you bought the Carbot emoticon pack, Zombie Girl.
I try and buy everything. I actually think I missed out on the WCS portraits though, which kind of makes me sad.
Oh really? I thought you got those like right away.
I missed out on something because I was traveling from Korea to Paris and then home. And I thought it was the portraits.
Well, I'll say of all the emotes I got, the infested adjutant is like the worst one.
Infected adjutant?
I just put it in chat. It looks so bad. Just comes to Stuke up. Anyways,
yeah, okay.
We were waiting on GuMiho, but he's finally showed up. We were also praising stats, perhaps a little too hard in the lobby. Golden saying, guys, stop. GuMiho will be mad. But, of course, Zombie Grub and I are probably cheering for stats in this one, just to avoid the TvT finals. I don't know how that will look, but I also, for just a little bit, like I want a bit of the BlizzCon semifinals rematch. I think would be kind of sick to get as well. Best of 5 stats and GuMiho, or stats and beyond. But we'll see who wins here, because GuMiho's actually been winning against Protoss all evening, beating Super, beating M Canning, and beating Classic to get here to this semifinals match.
Oh, that is true. He's pretty warmed up for this matchup, but he did lose a game, rather.
Actually, the only person he dropped a game to was the foreigner M Canning. He 2-0'd everyone else. That's actually more impressive for M Canning, I gotta say. So shoutouts to him.
Exactly.
But all right, folks, welcome to the other semifinals. We did get a Twitch Prime sub off of that little spiel. Thank you to Asmodi JM. And of course, one of the benefits to those subscribing to the channel, and you guys who are subbed already can vouch for this, hopefully, is that we've been sending out a lot of awesome replay packs that come with things like the BTSL and like the Corsair Cups and a lot of the events we do run on the channel. So a lot of love back to you guys for supporting us. Thank you to Double Bub as well for the Twitch Prime sub. Hype! But let's get into the game. Spawning in the upper left side, we've got the Red Terran. It's GuMiho.
In the bottom right, the blue Protoss, he is Stats.
Of course, Stats playing for Splice. GuMiho repping that Psystorm. Good to see some foreign teams investing in the Korean scene. But just going to do a little bit of self-compliment here. I think that was perhaps the most beautiful note I've ever accidentally held. And I don't think I could replicate it again.
You held a note?
Yeah, when I said hype, I went all high-pitched.
Oh. Okay. I did not pay attention enough to have a thought on
you know how as people get older they can't hear certain levels of pitch?
Yes.
Maybe you just can't hear certain levels of beauty, because that's what that was.
Yeah, alright. I'm wondering, are we around that? Well, I know you're around that age.
Excuse you? Excuse you? I was actually I was listening to the radio on the way into that drive with my dad that one day, and on the radio you got the talk show host, this guy and this girl, and the guy kind of very rudely, like he doesn't mean to say it rudely, but he does rudely ask, how old are you? Because they're trying to talk about things in like the early 80s and stuff like that. And this woman dodged it like a pro, rather than getting mad or trying to laugh it off and make it awkward. She's just like young enough. Just it's like, okay.
Young enough not to know what you're talking about?
I think young enough not to be classified as old is what she was aiming for, but it came off really smooth, and I was really impressed by it, to be honest. Age is a weird, fickle subject. I don't know if I truly understand the whole, like, I don't want to say my age thing. It's kind of like I don't want to say my weight thing, because like if someone's like seeing you in real life, the fact that you tell them any number is not going to change how they view you, like physically, that is. Because I feel like, isn't that what everyone's like worrying about first and foremost? Like no one's like, wow, this woman knows about the Nixon politics. I can't talk to her anymore, and walks away. Let me just say, I'll inform you. It's really simple. It's for sex appeal. And not because, like, oh, you're young versus old.
But like, either you're sexy or you're not.
No. Everyone's got to have a little bit of mystery.
But then guys can say it, so it has nothing to do with their sex appeal.
But I don't, and that's why I've got that sex appeal.
Oh, okay, we're talking about you. I get it. Everything comes back to you. Anyway.
Enjoy the cringe, guys.
GuMiho did go for a 1 base build.
Wow, that got out alive. I'm actually impressed.
So stats, you know, he did scout, I think, the lack of a command center, but that's why his adept almost died, is that he had to run back.
I mean, the information provided, or the lack of information provided, was enough. The scary thing is, though, because he did go for the Stargate opening, it's not exactly the best thing to stop this, but this is going to be somewhat effective if he gets the Cyclone, and he does get the Cyclone.
There is another one on the way, so the Oracle won't be able to...
but this is where the Phoenix comes in. The Phoenix can just lift it up, and there's not enough Marines to protect it. There's no Widowmine with this either. I think GuMiho's just kind of out of the game, frankly.
A Stargate opener, I think, is the most effective way to deal with any type of 1-1-1. If you do everything right, anyways. There's always that chance that you miss micro, or you don't realize that it's going to be a Cyclone attack instead of a Widowmine attack, or something like that. But so far, Stats has used it pretty perfectly.
Well, the Cyclone, after getting dropped, started doing some very serious damage. The Phoenix wanted, I guess, focus on prioritizing killing the medevac. I got so close to it, too. But as we can see, GuMiho really not causing enough damage with this. 2 probes died, right? Is that about the tally there? I guess the Adepts, too. But, I mean, this was something where you got Cyclones. They're supposed to massacre mineral lines after clearing out the gateway defense.
Right. This was supposed to do a lot more for GuMiho, and he is certainly... going to start feeling the burn. Right now, the difference in workers isn't devastating because 13 workers, maybe that's 2 mules, and it's only slightly far behind, but it's a fact that he won't, like, it'll be 20 and then 30 probe difference, and then the third Nexus will already be down, and GuMiho will be running out of his main, and, like, it's not a great start for GuMiho. And Stats will have a lot of control over this game, provided he doesn't really flub up somewhere else.
If these Phoenix had a little bit more energy, by the way, this would be super devastating, but I kind of forgot that was high ground, and that was a great way to not just lose the Marines, but also get rid of the lock-on.
Yeah, that was nice. I don't think there's a way that GuMiho really catches Stats off guard. I mean, first of all, with the Stargate open and Phoenix is flying around, even if there were medevac... Oh, of course. Even if there were
subordination!
Flying around. Phoenix would take care of it, but we know there aren't.
SCV was at lunch, and he's like, you guys ever think, like, why are we fighting the Protoss anyways? They don't seem like such bad guys. Everyone goes dead silent. As soon as the SCV leaves, like, let's get them.
No, you know what I imagine? You know that scene in Galaxy Quest with the little hurt alien?
Yes.
And the Phoenixes were like, oh, it's going to help them. And the Marines just turn on them. Okay, anyway. So the Phoenixes dodge and weave and whatever, but the Revelation went down, and I guess Stats didn't really want to bother sticking around.
So I'm not just trying to appease the ego of M. Canning, who is evidently in chat with us, but to talk a little bit about strategies for a moment. The Stargate opener worked out really well, but I have been super sold on, if you're not going to play super cheesy Protoss, I really like the direction of Disruptors. The fact that we might just have like a big gateway all in, it can work. But again, like for me, there's the aspect 1. The only guy who beat GuMiho today probably did it with Disruptors. We didn't see the game, but I'm gonna guess that's what happened because it's freaking M. Canning. Secondly, like I'm wondering how long this takes to cement and maybe transfer over that may or may not be a good idea. Because the other thing I've been witnessing too is the different play styles from different players. You know, I'm not sure if it's stubbornness or you're just used to playing one way for so long and so often. But at some point, like, I think Disruptors have really got to come back to this matchup in a big way. You can keep nerfing Liberators and tweaking Widowmines, but I think once people figure out Disruptors, I said Liberator earlier, I meant Disruptor. I think once people figure out Disruptors better, we're going to see a lot better games out of Protoss. Maybe. But that's just a Rifkin opinion. That's not a fact, guys. As the attack comes in, GuMiho was revealed. He's got a couple of tanks, a couple of Cyclones, a very scary front line.
Well, the attack was underway, and Sats was just about ready to deal with it.
Well, the Immortal takes out the tanks.
Super choked in, but I still think he has enough production to take care of it, and that's the whole point. It's like Stats was a second away. He was another Warping away from actually totally just taking care of this, no problem.
Yeah, another Warping wave would have been just enough Adepts to make sure that this wouldn't have been a problem. He does lift up the tank. He removes that from the equation. Medevac, of course, is going to go down as well. The Immortal tries to focus down what it can. The barrier's been popped, though. And again, like another wave of Adepts, maybe like a little bit more, and Stats holds on, but GuMiho's also reaching really deep for this. Keep in mind, GuMiho doesn't have a lot going on back at home for him. His tech's a little bit slow. I don't believe there's 2 engineering bays down. If I can check that. Yeah, only the 1. So he's not exactly running away with tech while this goes on.
Oh, he's falling further and further behind. That was a true all-in, and he also missed macroed back at home as well, banking quite a few minerals. So stats, I think he absolutely would have squashed it had he had a bit more gas, as well as, again, like 1 or 2 more warp-in rounds. It would have been no problem whatsoever, but even as it is, with a little bit of difficulty, stats is still absolutely going to win this game. There's just no winning for GuMiho with that late of a stim, and having lost his army that took so long to build.
Well, Blink starts up, so Stats is going to have a lot more mobility to, I guess, maneuver around some of the stuff that's coming up. I'm wondering, though, if he's thinking about Liberators or not, because it is, I still think, a very scary thing to worry about. Again, the 10 damage nerf was literally this week, guys. It's still so fresh. It's still so new. But beforehand, Liberators could get really out of hand, and that's where you really, you need that Blink. You just can't play without it, even if you go for the Stargate Opener.
There's so many pylons to the board.
The
But
cannon,
not enough energy.
well, the cannon finishes up, so it should keep this from getting too out of hand. Although that would have mine almost gets a really good hit on the left side. That would have been a bit awkward.
Stats is close to pushing, I think. As I said, maybe like once Blink is done, I'll feel very confident with it. But he can attack in the main and then attack in the front. He could just all attack in the main if he really wanted to.
Yeah, the third base aside for a moment, if GuMiho had tanks with his army, I would actually love his position in this game, regardless of the tech. But there's no tanks. It's just bio. The attack in the main is this is gonna be really awkward. There's no Mothership Core here for a recall. Stats.
Yeah, that was a really odd positioning of Stats.
Stats is gonna incidentally walk into a base trade. So rip. This could go well for GuMiho because you never really want to base trade a Terran, but I think Stats' army is so much better. So if he can get an army fight, he's gonna be looking fantastic. Widowmines get really good shots in the main actually, but the front door is just like busts down. He kicks it in. Badass. Stats walks in and there's nothing to push him back. Back at home though, a couple of cannons, some warp-ins. I actually think Stats will hold on.
Yeah, I think Stats is fine. He loses the third base or something.
Oh, he recalls the probes! Oh, that was so risky, but so sick. Command Center straight up died. No lift off out of GuMiho. This one's not even done yet. I mean, this is getting out of hand. Oh, hello, weird bug on the barracks. What?
Might buy some time, but the main attack for GuMiho actually goes better despite all the warp-ins that had happened.
And all those probes that got saved just got Widowmined. Widowmine's over here being a problem too. Eat some of those shots, but the Liberators set up. Stalkers can maneuver around them. They do have Blink. I'm still not convinced that GuMiho can win the race here. I actually just don't think he has the damage for it. So he lifts up the buildings, and like Cheeky Bugger might be his best bet. Oh, he's not. Well, actually, yeah, he's not killing the Liberator. He's only got 2 Stalkers left.
He doesn't have that many minerals either. Like it was the mining bases that were taken out.
I mean, okay, so GuMiho's got flawless scores across the board today, but were the games flawless? Because it's feeling like a lot of games have gone like this for him. I don't know if Stats had a Dark Shrine or something right now, I would feel so much better for him, but he doesn't, and anything he warps in, I think is going to die to the bio.
I don't know how this will go. The armies are pretty even with even supply. There's no upgrade disadvantages. The army types are both okay. He's
got a lot of money, but he lost a lot of his gateways. He's only got 3 to warp in with, but I feel like making a Void Ray right now actually wouldn't be a bad call.
A Void Ray might help.
It's too late now, I think.
Void Ray of Phoenixes.
Well, anything he wants to make is too late. It sucks. He's got the supply, he's got the money, he's got the gas. He's trying to kill this command center. But even if this starts burning, the buildings are elsewhere.
He doesn't have an orbital, but he has enough minerals to build another one.
Did he get any of his probes out? He did. Okay, so that's why he's holding on his money. He can build a Nexus still.
Okay, so it's a real base trade, first of all.
Yeah, literally. The base has been maneuvered. He's building a new command center. He's throwing bunkers down. I mean, he does this in plain sight, too, so Stats knows where all this is. But Stats just used all of his money up.
He did, like, all of his money.
What's kind of cool, though, is I think there's a small thing here where Stats and a couple of hallucinations could actually go a very long way. Guardian Shield up too.
All right.
Because GuMiho doesn't know precisely what the army looks like. And even if it's just a couple of Immortals hallucinated even, soaking a couple of shots could be a world of difference. But there's 0 chance that Stats breaks the top of this ramp. There's a wall off with the barracks. There's Widowmines. There's bunkers. GuMiho, Stats would be insane to try and break this, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he can lift and force the bunkers to be like, this is actually pretty good. It's fast enough, too. GuMiho is not paying attention.
Well, like, GuMiho doesn't see it. It's actually out of vision.
That's super awkward. Well, don't attack into the bunkers anyways.
Well, the bunkers can be broken by the Immortals. They've got the damage, but not if they hold position like this and they're not all firing on it. Guardian Shield comes up. He's going to pick up and drop Micro with that Warp Prism. He walks up the ramp with the rest of his army. This is going to come down to stats as Micro to deter. Oh, it's not going to be good enough.
Oh, my God. The Immortal Micro is so good. The Widowmine gets the Warp Prism.
That's it. I think that's too much at this point. Oh, actually, hold up. Hold on. Maybe not. This is so risky, right? Like, GuMiho actually lost a lot of SCVs in this. His recovery potential now gone. He can maybe build a command center. And Stats is mining.
He used his minerals to go. Oh, whoa. Yeah, okay, so good thing that Stats did not tap out, but I guess he saw once there was no command center that he'd have a chance.
Well, if GuMiho didn't salvage the second bunker, he actually didn't have enough money for a command center. Yeah,
that was pretty important. His observer will see a command center probably start. And then that might make him think about tapping out.
Well, this is going to be really awkward because, again, GuMiho's army should be better than Stats'. However, a barrier, Guardian Shield can go a long way. I mean, Stats is a long way from recovering an actual army of any kind, but the units might be coming out one at a time.
GuMiho just wins this. Even if he target fires hallucinations. Oh, he's really scared.
He's scared. I don't blame him.
He's got to figure out, like, hey, that wasn't doing any damage.
He does have SCVs alive. Like I think they're in the medevacs.
They are. He picked them up. So he's really gonna try to just win the game here instead of playing this long call out.
I love it.
It's so long.
This is huge. The hallucinated Immortal could be huge in this.
I guess.
Oh, there's no high ground vision?
Just wait it out.
Oh, well, he's flying the buildings to him. Hello. But nothing shoots up. Oh, the sentries. Never mind. The sentries do shoot up.
Okay. Technically, they do.
I was thinking for a moment, like, oh, what could actually hit those? But this also might screw with the Micro here. GuMiho might end up having a couple of wasted shots go, say, to the buildings instead of his army.
Oh,
but the real Immortal's the one on the front lines. And it's got a barrier, so it hasn't been triggered yet. Oh, this is huge. The barrier hasn't been used.
Marauders have to be target fired. He did.
Oh, the Widowmine planted.
Oh, no, it's a sentry as well.
Oh my God, this is gonna come down to that Immortal. I think the medevac Micro.
The medevac Micro is gonna do it.
Oh, what a tight game though, GG. GuMiho. That game came down to like.
GuMiho.
That game came down to a handful of units, and if I gotta say, if Stats didn't lose the Warp Prism to that Widowmine, I think he still could have won that game. That's how close that came down, right? Like, my God.
I agree.
But I want to point out too, the hallucinated Immortal actually played a pretty big role in that. Like, holy crap! But
yeah,
oh jeez, I'm at a loss. That was such a sick ending to that game. All right, so game number 2 is going to be Stats' map selection. We'll give him a moment to figure out what's going on, but the recent Psystorm pickup has been walking over all the Protoss today and continues to do so here in the semifinals. We will pop off to a small commercial break, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes for game number 2. All right, folks, welcome back. We're just going to hop directly into the game, loading in right now. And, of course, it was Stats' map pick. I had to take a moment to remember who... who won that game, because it was so close, and we actually spent the entire commercial break just watching your reactions to the end of that game. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys very much. But we are getting into game number 2. This is still the semifinals for the BTSL, and of course the winner of this will go on to fight against Beyond in the grand finals. Spawning in the bottom left, playing for Splice. He's on his last life. Excuse me, bottom right. Either way, it's Stats.
In the bottom left, the Red Terran. He is GuMiho. God. He did not deserve to win that game. No, I'm just kidding. He totally deserved to win a game because that was the only way he was ever going to win that game, was to force a base trade. Otherwise, he was absolutely screwed. Stats had that in the bag.
Yeah, and Smokey the Bandit in chat is asking that we try and explain what happened there. And honestly, that was a game where just GuMiho had fallen behind, and as Zombie just mentioned, like he was forcing that position because that's all he could do. He lucked out a little bit too because Stats was going for it. If Stats had been defending at home and taking that fight, I think Stats would have won that game very, very easily. But at the same time, Stats' choice for aggression, there was a window of opportunity. He saw it, he wanted to take it, and just a couple of bad decisions from both. Honestly, it's not about who deserved to win that game more, but it's more like who deserved to win that game less, because things just got really crazy at the end. And I know chat wants to say like, oh, the throws and like this guy is good and that race is bad, but really it was just player decisions I think made up the majority of the last 2 minutes of that game.
Yeah, certainly stats, you know, you gotta wonder if he had done his attack a little bit smoother, didn't go to the top left like he did for some reason. That extra head start might have helped. He might have seen a medevac flying across the map and had the decision to either turn back or warp in even sooner than he did. I love those type of games because there are just like tiny things that could drastically affect the outcome. But certainly stats, I think, knew
you know what,
he was in a good position and felt like that was kind of a game taken away from him because it was a base trade.
I almost want to call those and classify them as like Groundhog Day games, where it's something where if you could do the same day over and over and over again, you would have fixed the mistakes and it would have been a very different outcome like every single time.
Yeah, I guess you can call him Groundhog. I mean, it's in the spirit of the holiday.
When is Groundhog Day, by the way?
It was like yesterday or 2 days ago. I thought that's why you brought it up.
No, I was thinking of the Amazing Bill Murray movie. So
that's why everyone's been mentioning Groundhog Day.
No, but okay, there you go. It's Groundhog Day. There you go. Do we have more spring or winter? Do you know?
Isn't it usually always more winter? I think it was more winter ago.
I honestly have never understood how that works, and I've never understood the hype around it. I just live with the groundhog, baby. Like,
it was something so innocent that we kept it, even though it's totally dumb. Apparently, Virginia had an official groundhog that killed itself, but I didn't actually check any further when I read that Reddit thread.
How the fuck does it?
That's what I wanted to know, but I was so tired I didn't check.
Like, if it's a lemming, I get that. They're prone to run off a cliff. Okay, that sucks. How's the ground? It just, what, it didn't come out of the ground?
I don't know, man. Virginia is for lovers, not groundhogs, I guess. Oh no.
Oh, yeah, I saw that spike too. That wasn't just you, so a little bit of lag. Hopefully nothing too serious from anybody playing. But anyways, talking about stats and just choices. He does go for the Stargate again. I don't think the Stargate opener is a bad choice. I like it a lot more than the quick to robo, but it is a matter of like what can you do with it, and your options are fairly limited against players who play defensive like this. You know, we see the turret already coming down, Vikings out, and frankly in any other scenario there would have been Widow Mines too. So GuMiho's not going to get caught off by this early, but we have seen some games run away when the Phoenixes get out of control, whether it's against Zerg or Terran. Sometimes they can rule this matchup, but I don't know how much Stats is willing to commit to that. He might just simply be going for a couple of units to intercept early game, and then nothing beyond like 3 air units total.
Well, it's... Who did that? Who's the boss for us weakness?
Oh, you mean today?
I don't remember. Yeah, the other pros that we cast.
It was Stats, right? Against Major, or what are you referring to here?
Oh, that's right, it was. Yeah, I was gonna say that even works even better though, because that was Stats, so he could go for the limited amount of Phoenixes and just force GuMiho to just feel never very comfortable to drop, but not actually over dedicate the Phoenixes. It's a very quick robotics base, so it's gonna be Colossus again. Actually, the game that Stats, well, he went to Colossus twice. That's right. If it's anything like that Proxima Station game, then Stats is totally, you know, in the right for doing the Colossus. But there's also a game where Major just kind of pulled him apart, and GuMiho has the opportunity, I guess, when he finally has medevacs, but he has delayed them.
Apparently, Groundhog Day confirmed in chat was yesterday, and he saw his shadow, but I don't know what that means.
It means there's more winter.
I also want to confirm, like, how do you know he saw the shadow? Like, he looked in its general direction, but did he see it? For example, a Terran player might do a drop, but did the Protoss player see the Widowmine burrow? Like,
I have no idea. I've never paid attention to this tradition, and I didn't even pay that much attention to the movie. Or they probably explained it, at least a little bit.
It's a great movie, man. I loved that movie growing up. I'm sure if I rewatched it now, it would probably be really stupid, and I'd be like, oh, this is so inconsistent, and this doesn't make sense. But I enjoyed it when I was younger. Okay, but the Hellion is going to be poking around and unfortunately won't get much for it. The Colossus is actually just revealing this makes the Hellion death worthwhile if he realizes the Colossus is already out. This Hellion manages to slip by. What? The Mothership Core was pushed off because he did push for like all of this Stargate into Quick Robo, so there's no overcharges available, and a couple of probes are going to die for this. Shouldn't happen, but it did.
Pulls the army out of position too, and if GuMiho is any quicker on this attack, Sim finishes right now. Maybe he could have done some damage with that Nexus, but a little bit too late. Stats will be able to respond, and all of his upgrades will be done too, so the game goes on. GuMiho's only going to be a little bit later to his command center. In fact, it's pretty even, really. Yeah. Without combat shields, I don't think these Marines are going to take on the Colossus. No.
Just to answer Rangers Gaming question really quick, we don't do many invites for any tournament, dude. If you want Pult to play and things, just tell them to sign up. All of our tournaments are open to everybody. Picks off that medevac masterfully, though, with those stalkers. That shuts down GuMiho in a big way. Takes away a lot of supply, and there's now only these two drops heading towards the main, and they're not exactly full of units.
No, neither one are full. It's kind of awkward.
Oh, but
Mothership,
full. Widowmine's got the god hit. 11 killed, I think, with that left Widowmine. Can't click it because of the stupid stalkers, though. There you go. 8 kills on one, and I guess 3 on the other. But still, really good Widowmine hits.
That was nice. But Stats takes advantage of the armies just being every which way, and not very strong anyway if they were here.
If he left one Colossus at home, this army is over stimmed. No medevac support. That would have devastated. The main... Oh, no! Wasn't cleaned up! Juke some hits. Okay, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Command center looks like it's about to go down. He might even blink. I don't know if you want to blink for it. It lands, though. Oh, that was...
He's not repairing. He's not repairing. He's not repairing. Just blink. Oh, my God.
It was worth the 4 stalkers, even if he lost them. So that was kind of nice, picking up the 3rd CC. While this goes on, the 3rd Nexus might go down. He's going to waste some time focusing on the stalkers. Okay. Just barely gets it. So some tit for tat, but unfortunately, I don't think GuMiho's got an easy way to deal with Stats' army.
Scan the observer. Maybe the women get good hits. Too late now. It's a little bit scary. Like, Stats has no way to really reinforce quickly, but he is sending the units that we're defending over here, and that might just be a big enough Protoss army.
Yeah, 68 looms over, especially with these Colossus. There's not quite enough Vikings, and I think the Stalkers could protect them from said Vikings, but even if they didn't, it's about just doing as much damage as you can with the Colossus. Just kind of stepping away, excuse me, as he does just mow down the SCVs on that front line. The Colossus still standing while this goes on. Oh, this Marauders get absolutely taken apart. Normally Marauders wreck Stalkers, but not this time. Not in this case. All the Colossus are gone, but the game's over, and Stats will tie it up 1-1.
Protoss hope.
Yeah, there's a chance. What you're saying is there's a chance?
Sure.
All right, so this will go to game 3. We'll let them pick. Of course, again, we are kind of hoping on having Stats win this just for the TvP finals, not to mention the BlizzCon rematch, but at the same time, if GuMiho's playing well enough to go against Bjorn, I think a TvT will be very exciting there as well. Either way, the next game will determine what that'll be. And just a personal side note about Pult too, by the way. You know, I've had a lot of respect for Pult. He's done a lot of good things with the game, and we've been casting him since like the days of Zotac. But just in terms of inviting him to a tournament right now, the guy hasn't played in like how long? Like preparing for the military. Didn't even for those who don't know, Pult's been streaming again recently, and that's really cool and great for the Pult fans. But it's only temporary. Like he's not back to StarCraft. Don't start rejoicing, because he still has to go back to the military in like a month or something like that. I think is what he tweeted. So just enjoy the bonus streaming while you can, and don't get your hopes up in anticipation of more. Because whether it's BaseTradeTV tournaments or whether it's some bigger thing, like he's not gonna have time for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, they are ready to go. Belshir.
I will do my best not to make too many co-op references here. Just
Thank
for you,
you.
Zombie Grove.
Because you know, without you, I wouldn't have even known this was a...
You wouldn't have connected.
Put two together. I would not have. Thank God for Rifkin and his co-op.
Oh, hey, I think I finally got paid for casting IEM.
Whoa.
2 months later, but yeah, whatever, it's all good.
You know, it's like a month and a half.
No, I've been very much, and I don't really care so much about myself getting paid for this. I can wait for the money, but it's that Pig is also getting paid for it, but he gets paid for it through me, and I felt really guilty about leaving him hanging, so I'm sure he's used to it. He's done enough work with IEM at this point. Anyway, so this is good news. Yay! But ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1. Spawning the bottom right, he's going to be Splice's own Red Perotas stats.
In the top left says the blue Terran. He is GuMiho.
All right, Zambria, how are you feeling on this one? Who's going to take this and go to the finals? Who faces off against Bjorn?
I think GuMiho has an unbeatable build. Just unbeatable. Terran's the OP race.
Except for where he was beat to get to game 3.
No, but it wasn't on this map with that build, dummy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you just meant like you're just speaking very plainly and generally, and I'm like, yeah, he's
one
unbeatable
build that he's used every game, except he didn't.
Exactly.
And that was his problem. No. Seriously, I think it's a very strong build on this map, and Stats either has to have already played against it, which I'm guessing he has, and has hopefully figured out how to play against it, or he's just gonna be screwed. The last time we saw GuMiho on this map was brutal. Yeah,
and what I really like, we really kind of showed and I guess talked about the differences in tank controlled Major versus GuMiho, and it's so nice watching. It's not that a Terran player is good versus bad, but just like that extra care. But you know what? Never mind.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, alrighty. So not the same tank push, but rather a...
Well, what's funny is this could eventually be the same tank push, given enough time and enough deflections.
Straight up against Stats. Well, Stats will probably not be thinking about any proxies. If they're going to take a commands, then they're usually not going to be this aggressive. But GuMiho doesn't care. I'll show you what's up. I'll show you for predicting when my, medevac comes in.
Well, Cheesy Terran has proven to be pretty good. Cheesy Protoss has also proven to be pretty good, but I do want to point out that Stats has made a bit of a divergence in this game. We don't have a Stargate coming into play.
Divergence. Very terrible movie.
What was that one about? That sounds familiar.
It's the other girl in dystopian era. Not Hunger Games.
Oh, right. And they even got a sequel, didn't they? Like, what the
Yeah, there's Convergent, Divergent, and then something else. Subvergent? I don't know. All the virgins.
Well, then how are they having kids?
Oh, I knew you were going to go with that. Waiting for it. Alright, so it's going to be, as I predicted, a Widowmine drop, at least to start things off with. You can add a Tech Lab to either one of these buildings, I guess, and continue doing whatever you want. But the Widowmine drop is now going to be, at the time, not quite like if you one-based it, but it is going to be a lot quicker than Stats expects.
Yeah, I mean, the Robo's normally just barely timed out for this. The proxy is what makes the extra hurt, and frankly, this first drop won't be dealt with well unless the probes are microed perfectly. Outside of that, the Observer should still come out, and they should still eventually be able to clean it up, but this is still a really painful attack. So you can follow up with a Cyclone. I'm imagining a Liberator to it, so it's the money's there, but let's see what these Widowmines can do, because this is certainly so early. Stats might not be looking. He is, though, paying attention. Nice control with the probes so far.
Natural also should be covered. Even if I got a shot right now, it wouldn't be the best one. Oh, he almost screwed up.
I mean, it kind of sucks. It sucks having to sacrifice a probe like that, but it is the best way to deal with it when you don't have protection available. And what's annoying, certainly, is that he's not going to... One more Widowmine is going to go off here, almost for certain. The one in the main looks to be the case. Stats knows the timing. He's pulling back. GuMiho's going to be microing, though. Stats is going to be very careful. There we go. Nicely done. Very nicely done. Second Widowmine.
Nice.
I love this. Stats is not playing complacent, and of course we are sitting here like a little bit cheering for Stats, guys. So I'm happy to see him deflect this. But that being said, it's not over yet. GuMiho's still looking to go for a little bit more. He's got the command center back at home, and
little Cyclone, and a Liberator.
He got Cyclone, the Liberator, as predicted.
He is doing a tank push.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, but he catches the medevac with that blink. That's huge.
Nice.
Gets the. Oh, he takes out the Cyclone. This is so bad. GuMiho's attack was supposed to be better than this, and the Liberator might set up in the main, but none of the Stalkers died, so they just come over and they'll clean this up and lickety split. Well, actually, they're pushing. Hello?
Yeah, I don't know about this push. GuMiho Well, no, never mind. He has all of his stuff proxied, so a tank isn't at home.
Yeah, the bunkers aren't done, and this actually is a really smart read out of Stats. It was a risky one because he doesn't know what's on this side of the map, but just predicting that everything would be on the wrong side because of that proxy timing. I mean, keep in mind, Stats never scouted the proxy. It's a guess because of the timing, and this is so good. The bunker actually finishes, but he blinks past it. SCVs are going to keep dying. That second bunker will probably never finish at this rate. Adepts actually made it into the main. Whoa. 2 Marines are all there is to defend, and of course those Stalkers are looking to kill the reactors. Liberator not going to stand a chance if he focuses it. Blinks in.
That's it, man. He can't get enough production up with 2 of his.
That's it, or Stats it.
Proxied.
Actually, this will, the tank, it made the long journey home, and looks like it will clean this up. But this was a lot of damage done. GuMiho's lost a lot of workers through this, and of course his important tech is still in the wrong place. Anything that rallies home risks getting caught in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Dude, Shroom5 making it rain today with these 2 fitties. Oh, that was a $5 this time. He says, I forgot what I did last time. Take this 5. Thank you very much, Shroom5. And of course, for those who don't know, we are pushing money from the donations into the fundraiser, so you've basically done that. We've actually got some rewards up over there, so if you are considering doing donations like this, Shroom5, you should go take a look at some of the rewards, at least claim the name on the wall, man. Either way, the Stalkers blink into tank fire, not so good, but that bunker's not exactly full either, so this does kill the tank, and he walks away from it.
No, that was a sacrifice of a pretty sizable army.
Pulled a lot of the SCVs too. A couple died, but look at the income graph spikes, right? Like this is, it's weird because the damage being done here isn't really obvious and through blood and guts, but the economy is hurting more and more through this.
Oh, GuMiho's messed up his mining too. He's still rallying to his natural when it's oversaturated, and he has a gas geyser.
Well, it might work out because the attack of the mains will commence. Less SCVs. The tactic is there's nothing to kill.
Yeah. I mean, GuMiho really had to have A+ perfect defense from here on out to really be able to come back in this game, and certainly Stats is finding holes. You know, Warp resembling Stalkers. That's pretty good at finding places where he can't defend. But eventually, he will have enough units to defend. But by that time, Stats will have upgrades and a lot of production.
Yeah, 1-1's wrapping up now with Chrono. You're gonna have that 2-2 eventually as well, and that's when Bio, of course, with the Guardian Shield isn't gonna touch most of that Protoss army. I really want to note this too. I really like to see the Immortal production and not a rush to Colossus. I think there is that little temptation to be greedy and get the higher tech out, but I think the better fighting units are the better call. So I like that he's making Immortals right now.
Well, GuMiho's going to have to push out sometime, whether to take a 3rd base or just to try and hope to God Stats is really too greedy. And that's when Stats is absolutely going to win, unless there's a base trade. And then
then apparently things get janky and all normal things go out the window.
Exactly, and that would be something that GuMiho has to do, I think.
You know, the Raven's kind of a cool move, actually, given the present situation. He knows there's a lot of Stalkers, so a point defense drone can go a long way. But also, if he rallied this inwards, he could auto-turret harass and maybe get some economic damage in. But I think at this point, GuMiho could get Widowmine drops and kill 40 probes, and Stats would still be ahead by leaps and bounds. Which, by the way, isn't happening, so it's still just, again, head by leaps and bounds. The Adepts, unfortunately, can't shoot up, but the Stalkers are still in the Warp Prism, so he might just be able to catch this Raven if he's paying attention. Start unloading right now, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Feels bad.
But he's still, you know, he's scouting their lack of a 3rd base. He sees the army with an observer. Stats, he is going to push into GuMiho. I don't think it's necessary. He could wait for, you know, GuMiho to push into him, but he does have a big enough army and upgrades. Scans the observer, so now Stats doesn't know quite where the army is anymore, but it's moved to the 3rd base. Is he trying to force another base trade? No, he's pulling back to his main. I don't know. He's looking for the Warp Prism, that's right.
Factory's in the air, so there's no tank production. A couple of medevacs out. Blinks in. I think this is just a numbers game that GuMiho can't win. Stats has got too many. Stats, well, actually isn't focusing the tanks. They're taking a lot of damage, but it's still good enough. And we are going to get that BlizzCon semifinals rematch. Stats takes the series and moves on to the finals.
That BlizzCon game didn't go so well for Stats last time, though.
Yeah, but GuMiho... I feel like GuMiho has a really good track record of TvP today, and if Stats could overcome that, I would give some fair odds against Beyond in the finals, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Now, it is worth noting the grand finals is a best of 5, not a best of 3, so there's a little bit more action in terms of games. But I think even if this is going to be one-sided, it's not going to be one of those like walkover one-sided games. Both Beyond and Stats are very good players, and again, watching Stats play scrappy as he did, it may not have been cheesy like we've seen Hero and Classic and others do. It was still good gameplay.
It was.
But all right, we're gonna go. He's probably got an AFK, or you may even be watching the stream just trying to see who his opponent's going to be. Either way, we are going to pop off to a commercial break as we head into those grand finals. So please do stick around, guys, and we'll see you all in a moment with Beyond versus Stats grand finish.